it's busy. Got a lot of recruits in today, so he's coming from a luncheon there. But I guess we'll try to rush through this, not rush through it, but we'll get some questions answered and get back down there. But just like the number one, we're excited about the bowl. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great challenge for us. I've known Coach Strong for a number of years, and his team will be well prepared. South Florida's got tremendous athletes. Their quarterback, at one time was a starting quarterback at Alabama, and then that being said, Jalen Hurts is the guy that took over for him at one point. So he's a talented guy that can make all the throws. They got tremendous skill at every position. Charlie will do a good job coaching those guys up. So we got to do a great job preparing. I know our kids are excited. I know our fans are excited and anxious to get down to Tampa on Sunday and get ready to go play.
You mentioned Coach Strong, and I mean, you look at that lineage under Coach Meyer, and what is it that makes you guys so successful?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what that is. I know from that. If you look at that staff that I was on with Urban at that time, Dazio was there. He's now the head coach at Boston College. Of course, Charlie's Charlie's the head coach there at South Florida. We've had a lot of guys that have gone on to be very successful, and he's just Urban. And of course, a lot of us grew up among other coaches, but Urban's one of the guys that I'm sure molded a lot of us and about the way we're doing some things. And but they're all have been successful. And I think the key ingredient is just go to work every day and work to get your team better and get prepared to go play.
What things do you remember about Coach Strong that made him successful with your all's Florida teams?
Coach Strong never had a bad day. I mean, I wish I was more like him. I mean, every day I never saw him have a bad day. But he's a great motivator, a tremendous recruiter. Did a great job developing players. Whether it be at Louisville or wherever he's been. So, I've got great respect for what he does. I know he understands as I do. It's a personnel-driven game, and you've got to have good players, and they've got skill at every position. They've got tremendous running backs, and defensively they can run, and they're good in space. So, like I say, it's a challenge we're looking forward to.
You just mentioned recruiting, and anytime you all face FIU, FAU, we talk about being a recruiting game. How big of a recruiting game is this one, just because you all are in those same areas down there?
Well, I think number one, it's what a great time slot it is, because it's 8 o'clock on Thursday night. We're the only game on. People aren't bowl weary at that point, and we're not competing against anybody else. So on ESPN, on national stage against a good football team, that helps. Being in Florida also helps. You got a lot of players, around that area. And, of course, it's great for our players, because our kids that are from that area get a chance to go home and play in front of friends and family. And I've been to 27 bowl games, but it's probably the first time I've ever played against a team that's playing at home. So, they got a home field advantage, so to speak. So that's another challenge we'll have to deal with. But that's again, we're excited to get down there and get to work.
Dr. View identified anything that they didn't do as well the back half of the season as they did?
Well, I think they had some injuries. I think that quarterback's had some injuries he's had to deal with, and had a kick return, had two kicks for touchdowns early on in their kick return game that had a knee injury. I'm not quite sure if he's back or he's not. I know it was an ACL deal he was dealing with. So, I think a lot of things play into it. They played some pretty really good teams there at the end too. Central Florida being one of them. So, they're I think a lot of things factored into the last 5 games of the year. But I think now they've had 3 or 4 weeks to get healthy and to get guys back and coach them up. So, like I say, he'll have them ready to play.
You all head down there on Sunday, and I know that bowl games, there's a lot of things surrounding it. A little bit more important, you've always talked about leadership on the road. A little bit more important with the bowl game, just because the events and the distractions that can creep up.
Well, our guys have done a good job, in the past of making sure they understand why we're going, number one. I think you got to set that tone early. You don't wait till you get there to do that. I mean, that's been already explained to them that we're going down there for a reason. That reason is to go try to find a way to win that football game. And they got, you want them to go. There's a fine line. You want them to go have fun. You want them to enjoy the experience, but they also need to understand the bowl games you remember are the ones you win. Are the ones you are able to come out of there as a winner. And I tell them all the time, you got your whole life to screw around. They got 3 weeks after that bowl game to do what they want to do, but they got one shot to create a memory of a life. You remember those bowls when you win them. I mean, there's nothing like that locker room after a big bowl win. So it's the greatest feeling in the world. So they got to make sure they understand that, and that you go in there for a reason. That's the way to try to find a way to win that game.
Barnett's been such a dynamic piece for them, and like you mentioned, the times that they struggled were times whenever he wasn't fully healthy. How much did they change whenever he isn't on the field?
Well, they don't change a lot with what they do. I mean, their offense is their offense, and You know, another challenge that we're getting into, of course, our offensive coordinator's now the head coach, I think, at McNeese State, I think is where he is. So, you know, that's a challenge. We'll be lining up and playing against a new play caller. You know, I'm sure they can't go in there and totally change that offense, but anytime you get a new play caller involved, there's going to be some things that he wants to try to get done and maybe a possible couple of changes. So, you know, our defense will have to be able, it's kind of like playing first games again, you know. I mean, you're lining up against a different coordinator than, or got a different play caller than what you've had, you know, the previous 12 games. So, you know, we'll see where that goes and what his thoughts are. But it's hard to change totally in a 2 to 3 week period. So we'll see what happens when we get out there and get lined up.
When's the last time you played 3 straight, technically, road games?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not. I sure don't want to look forward to doing that. That's for sure. But you know, again, bowl games are a little bit different. But as you mentioned, and you heard, you know, when you hear their kids talk, it is a home game for them. You know, it's in their stadium and in their locker room and in their town, the whole thing. So, you know, it'll be. We played well on the road, except you know we've been pretty good on the road, and it's like anything else. You mentioned the leadership part of it, and we also got to take the toughness part of it, which plays a big part in a big role in that.
You usually have a good contingent of Hurricanes
Yeah.
in Florida too, don't you?
Number one, there's a lot of them down there, number one. And, you know, number two, everywhere we go, a lot of people go. And I think the date's conducive. You know, you're 5 days, you know, prior to Christmas, so you got a chance to get down there and get back for Christmas. So I think it's a tremendous date and a great city and a great bowl against a great opponent. So there's no reason not to pack up and go and spend a couple of days in Tampa. So.
With what Tyree did on Saturday in that announcement, that not only that he was going to play, but why he wanted to play. What's your take on what that means to his teammates?
Yeah.
All these guys that have NFL aspirations.
I think it means a lot what you think of Tyree, you know, kind of what he thinks, the kind of person he is. And, you know, I think if you look around the country, there's a lot of guys not making that decision. But, you know, Tyree appreciates what Marshall University did for him. You know, he told you he's the first guy in his family to ever walk out here. He's going to walk Saturday, which is the most important thing. He's going to go get his degree Saturday, which that's huge. So he'll have something that 75% of people in this country don't have, and that's a college degree, and it can't take that away from him. But, you know, I tell you what, if you look at, you know, we had a general manager from an NFL team here a couple of days ago, and that general managers don't normally go places unless they like what they're going there to see somebody they really like. And I asked him about it. I said, what's that mean? And he said that means a lot to those people in the NFL right now, that kids have to go play in bowl games and also graduate. You know, they're looking for guys like that to draft, because normally guys like that are more dependable and tells you they like football. And, you know, football's a tough game. And, you know, Tyree's a guy who just likes to go play and gives him the opportunity to play one more game. And of course, the Senior Bowl will be 2. So I think he's helped himself by making that decision. Anything else?